Coming up here today on the Raiders Report, I got some big Jalen Ramsey news that impacts the Las Vegas Raiders. My name's Mitchell Renz. You're watching the Raiders Report. And anytime there is information, especially in the offseason, that could potentially impact the silver and black, or if I have a lot of Raiders fans asking me about something, is when you see this pop up on a show. So here is right now the latest going on around Jalen Ramsey. And according to Adam Schefter, Ramsey wants to play on the West Coast. As soon as I saw the report from Schefter and as soon as I saw everything around Ramsey leading him to the West Coast, I knew for a fact that I was going to get a lot of Raiders fans asking me, well, hey, Mitch, I don't know if you know this, the Raiders are on the West Coast. We know that the Dolphins continue to shop Ramsey, and they have made it very clear that they do plan on trying to move on from him. And according to Schefter, again, he will be traded, and I would expect it to happen before training camp. Those are Adam Schefter's words. Those are not mine. But I know a lot of Raider fans keep going, well, hey, could we potentially get Ramsey? Ramsey's been connected to the silver and black before. We know Max Crosby has already signed off on the idea of getting Ramsey from previous regimes and previous, we'll call them off seasons. And Jalen Ramsey, since I've done this show, has always been a name every single off season, I swear, has been linked to the Raiders. So you know what? I know we have a lot of new people that are always tuning into this time of the year, and I appreciate you. And if you don't know what our Raiders rumor meter is, this is what it is. If you don't think there's any chance in hell that the Raiders trade for Jalen Ramsey, you would say 0 just win babies, tuck rule, tuck that. If you think that there is a 100% chance that a trade's going to happen, you would type 4 for 4 just win babies. So essentially, each win baby determines how real and how fake a rumor is. So all the time in the offseason and all the time in general, I always throw out the just win babies. They used to be known as the Chucky heads. So how many? This is where I want you to go down to the comment section and your opportunity to answer the pinned comment. How many just win babies for the Raiders trading for Jalen Ramsey? My answer coming up here in just a moment. I'm going to sit up here and probably give you an answer that you're not going to love, especially if you wanted the Raiders to go out and get Ramsey. I'm going to sit up here and go that it is 0 just win babies, tuck rule, tuck that, fake news, whatever you want to call it. The Raiders are not going to go out and get the Dolphins cornerback. And I say that because I believe other teams are more interested in Ramsey than what the Raiders are. I'm not saying the Raiders aren't interested in Ramsey at all. Like, I'm sure if the price point was a little bit different, then you could see this potentially happening. But the fact that the Raiders, I would say, have a bigger need and have multiple bigger needs, maybe at free safety. Maybe the Raiders have a bigger need at nickel corner. I'll also say this, that this is kind of just coming out because, again, I'm recording this video on June 24th. I'll be very transparent with you. But with the new photo coming out of Christian Wilkins being in a walking boot, you know, if you're the Raiders, you could go, well, man, if I go out and I trade for Jalen Ramsey, I got to take on $21 million this year. I might want to use that money to go out and get another guy on the defensive line. So to me, the Raiders value their future draft capital, I think, also more than most teams. So all of these reasons here are why I'll be transparent. I would be shocked if the Raiders went out and moved for Ramsey. Now, then again, I also said I would be shocked if the Raiders traded for Davante Adams. I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. But because they drafted Darian Porter in the 3rd round, because they have liked what they've seen out of Eric Stokes, and there is hope in this organization for Jacorian Bennett to, kind of get the ball rolling where he led off last season. But when you talk about the Ramsey contract, you also have to talk about the long term. And for the Raiders, yes, they want to win right now, but this is a team that I do really think is trying to set itself up for 2026, 2027. And if the Raiders were to go out and get Ramsey, this is what the salary cap hit would be for Las Vegas if they went out and got him. Now, I'll also say this, in 2026, 2027, and in 2028, $0 million guaranteed. If I had to guess, whatever team goes out and trades for Jalen Ramsey, Ramsey and his team is probably going to make that team that ever makes the deal for him put some of that guaranteed money, and I don't know if the Raiders are going to be a team that does that because, again, they believe in their organization to win and build in the draft. And then when you look at what Ramsey has done, I still think that he can play at a high level. I still am confident that he is a top 15 cornerback in the NFL, and I'll be real. I do think that Ramsey fits the kind of mold of corner that Pete Carroll is looking for. But I'll also say that we can all agree on this. Ramsey has lost a step. And at times when you see a player lose a step, I'll compare him to Davante Adams. At one point, Davante Adams was the best wide receiver in the NFL, or at least everybody would say, no doubt top 3, no doubt top 5. I think Jalen Ramsey is kind of that exact same mold where there was a time where everyone was like, this is the best cornerback in the NFL. No doubt top 3, no doubt top 5. I saw Devontae Adams take a step back last season, and you saw Jalen Ramsey take a little bit of a step back as well. My point is, I don't want to get a player who is slowly starting to fall off making that type of money, and I just think that the Raiders feel the same way. And again, if you're going to go out and make the trade, I think you got to look at it and go, that is a 10 out of 10 deal for the Raiders. And I don't think that the Raiders feel that way because they're just confident in some of the other players that they have, and they're confident in this regime. I do think that there's other teams out there that look at Jalen Ramsey and go, that's a 10 out of 10 move. And that is the biggest reason why I don't think that the Raiders end up making the deal for the Dolphins cornerback. If you do not know, we are getting closer and closer to 195,000 subs. My goal was to get to 200,000 subs by week 1 kickoff when the Raiders are going to kick the ass of the New England Patriots. And if you want to tune into that game, we're going to be live for it. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you got those noties turned on. We will be live for every single game by the Raiders this season. But also, if you're watching a Raiders Report show in the middle of June, I'll say this the most respectful way possible. You're a sicko, and you're a sicko because you're looking for Raiders updates in the most dead time of the year. Those are my type of people, and if you're that type of person, I'm telling you, subscribe. We're going to keep you up to date. So coming up here, why a Ramsey trade could impact the Raiders. Because, when I did this show, I knew a lot of people were going to go, all right, Mitch, we've already seen the West Coast rumors. How does it impact the Raiders? When you look at the teams that are interested in Ramsey, you're going to go, especially with one team, you're going to go, if he freaking goes there, I'm going to be one pissed off SOB. So I'll get to that here in a moment, but if you do not know, 4th of July, it's right around the corner, and there's always 2 holidays of the year where I know what I have to wear, but I never have anything I can wear. It is St. Patrick's Day. I don't own a lot of green stuff, and it is the 4th of July. I just don't have a lot of red, white, and blue. It's not that I don't love America. I love America. But I genuinely just don't have a lot of red, white, and blue outfits. So I am always the type of person where can I kill 2 birds with 1 stone? And you can do that here. If you're looking for some Raiders gear that you can wear to 4th of July, you're getting Raiders gear and you get something that you can wear for 4th of July. And if anybody needs any Raiders gear for the holiday, or if you just need some, also there's like salute to service gear, which isn't red, white, and blue, but it shows love to our awesome military members. Go to chatsports.com/Raiders USA. If you're a Raiders fan and you think we live in the greatest country in the world, I know I do. You can get a t-shirt. You can get your son a shirt. You can get your wife a shirt. If you need Raiders red, white, and blue, chatsports.com/Raiders USA. That link's going to be available to you all down in the comments, down in the description. I will say this, though. They are going quickly because there's not as much Raiders red, white, and blue stuff because obviously we're the silver and black. So let's get into here why I think a Ramsey trade could potentially impact the Las Vegas Raiders. And the first 2 reasons, I'll be honest, are small. The last one is the biggest one. The first one is this. The Raiders don't play the Miami Dolphins. And when you sit back and you think about how an entire year is going to go, when I hear of a big-name guy like Ramsey, the first thing that I'll always do you check the schedule. And obviously, we know what the schedule is now. We know the Dolphins aren't on our schedule. But because of that, I'm sitting here going, I know right now, if nothing changes, the Raiders will not go up against Jalen Ramsey. And because I'm sitting up here saying, I don't think the Raiders are going to be a team that goes out and trade for him, well, there is a chance then that the Raiders could go up against one of the better corners in the National Football League. The other part of this is this. You can make the argument that the AFC is potentially going to get weaker. The AFC, in my mind, is stacked. And yes, I want to be that Raiders fan that sits up here and tells y'all that we're going to make the playoffs. I think there's a chance. We definitely have a better chance this year than we did last season. But the AFC is stacked with a lot of different teams. Hell, I can make an argument. I could probably sit down and do a show on why 9 to 10, 11 teams in the AFC could potentially make the playoffs. And I don't even know if the Dolphins are going to be one of those teams. But if the Dolphins are a team in that playoff hunt, I do think that Jalen Ramsey would be a part of that. So to me, the biggest reason of why this impacts Pete Carroll and John Spytek's squad, it's the potential NFL destination. So before I reveal my top 5 teams with reasons of which teams I think go out and make the deal for Ramsey, I want y'all to go down to the comments section because this is a good opportunity, especially this time in the offseason, especially the time for my real ones, to flex a little bit on me. Like, I think for people that are watching a show in June, and if you get this right, we always say here at Chat Sports there's certain guys that know ball. I'm going to look at your name, and I'm going to be able to recognize it because there's not as many comments. There's not as many people watching. And I'm going to always go, you know what? That guy's a ball knower. So prove it to me down below. Where will Jalen Ramsey play football in 2025? Coming up here, I'm going to work my way from 5 all the way down to 1. Coming in here at number 5, it's going to be the San Francisco 49ers, who have a lot of money in salary cap, top 3 the last time that I checked. In terms also for San Francisco, it's a West Coast team. This is also a team that I do think is going to go out there and try to compete for a Super Bowl, as they do every single year, but it's also a team that is really predicated on defense, and I think the 49ers are a team to watch out for. Let's go to number 4 here. It's the Washington Commanders. I get it, not a West Coast team, but they are in the NFC, and there's a part of me that wonders, will Miami just trade him to an AFC team? I don't know if they will. Maybe if the best offer is out there. But if I was Miami, I personally would try to trade him to the NFC. And I do think a team like the Commanders, who lost in the NFC Championship game, are going to be doing a lot of things to make that squad a lot better. And Jeremy Fowler did report that they were one of the teams that was interested. Coming in here at number 3, the Dallas Cowboys. And again, another team that Fowler reported has shown some interest, at least a little bit, in Ramsey, and this is a team that they might not have Trevon Diggs to start this season. There's just some injury concerns around that cornerback, and for Dallas, they went out and made the move for George Pickens, and when they went out and made the move for Pickens, there was also reported that they could look to add a cornerback. I know, NFC, and I know, not a West Coast team, but I mean, you want to talk about Jalen Ramsey. I know it's been a while since he walked out or got ready for training camp with that Brinks truck. I don't know if there's another team out there that could put more money in Jalen Ramsey's pocket than the Dallas Cowboys. Let's go to number 2 here. It's going to be the Los Angeles Chargers, and this is the team that makes me nervous. It has been reported by Adam Schefter. It has been reported by Jeremy Fowler that the Los Angeles Chargers are absolutely one of the top 2 teams that could go out and get Ramsey. The Chargers have the second most money, I believe, in salary cap space. They're in the AFC West. So if you're telling me, how could Jalen Ramsey trade impact the Raiders? I think the number one way it could impact the Silver and Black is if Ramsey ends up going to the Chargers, instantly makes that defense better. Instantly have to go up against them 2 times a year, and it makes the Chargers more of a playoff contender. This is why I really wanted to do this show. But to me, the number 1 team linked to Ramsey, and the team that I think ultimately does end up getting him, it's the Los Angeles Rams, West Coast. And, both SoFi Stadium teams, both Los Angeles. Sean McVay has already come out and said that he would welcome Jalen Ramsey back. Reminder, Ramsey was previously a Ram, then he got traded to the Miami Dolphins, and we know for the Raiders, connections mean a lot. And I think when you look at the Ramsey contract, there has to be some sort of trust. There has to be some sort of connection for a coach to go, I'm going to take on Jalen Ramsey for 1 year guaranteed, potentially up to 4 years. And if Miami is still looking for a potential 3rd-round pick, a 4th-round pick, and you're going to have to give somebody $21 million, it's just a lot of extra, unknowns that you probably would want to know going into it. And for that reason, I believe the Rams are the number 1 team, but watch out for the Los Angeles Chargers, because if they get them, you're damn right that's going to impact the Raiders. So in conclusion, Ramsey wants to play on the West Coast, but I really do not think that it's going to be the Las Vegas Raiders. I would say the top 2 teams are the Chargers and the Rams, based on the latest reports from people like Adam Schefter and Jeremy Fowler. Schefter still continuously says that he believes a trade is going to happen before training camp, and if a trade does end up going down, let's just have our fingers crossed that it's not for the Chargers.